Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day, great afternoon, great night, just a great time in general when you're watching this video. So today's video I'm actually kind of excited about. I haven't really talked about this story that much. It's kind of a funny slash scary story, and I wanted to do the darker story first and then do my good story later in another video. But this is the first time I ever tried mushrooms. I just wanted to tell this story. I think it's a very interesting story. People can kind of see what I went through with it and what I still think, even though this was a very scary situation, it was definitely a good experience overall. In about November 2023, so about a week or two before I went to EDC with my friend, I got these mushrooms from a friend. We were supposed to take them at this nature preserve, but we never got the chance to. It rained too much, I locked my car. I could do a whole story on just that, to be really honest. I got them from my friend. He said, well, him and his guy were like, hey, I don't know how strong they are. About, what they weigh is what they should be, or about a handful is about 3.5 or 4. So I was like, okay. So I got about a handful in my hand and I took it, which looked to be kind of a good amount of the bag. Me, my friend, and his guy at the time definitely thought I took way more than 4, like maybe 5 or 6 with how extreme everything was, because genuinely I've had 3.5 and I think that is the maximum anyone should take. Sorry, not sorry. Like, if you need to take more to feel a stronger effect, totally get you, but like as a safety dose, 3.5 is all you really need. Now the point, I took a shitload and I took them. I started sitting there. I waited about 20 minutes because I wanted about 10 minutes into my walk is when I wanted it to start hitting me. So I start walking to the place and I'm feeling good. I knew the day was going to be kind of cold, so I'm wearing a sweatshirt and sweatpants. Well, for some reason in November during 2023 and seemingly most of our winters in my area, the weather is just like, nah. I claimed I was going to be cold that day, but I'm actually going to go from being 45 that day or 50 to being 70 about 2 hours into my trip, and I had no idea because I'm tripping hard as balls, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get to it, because I found myself later, my sweatshirt was like soaking wet. So it was really scary. Same with my pants. Luckily I was wearing black pants so you couldn't tell I was sweating. It was pretty wild. So I get to my spot. I found with my first good trip I did, which I'm gonna talk about later, I found that if I just play one song, like I find my one song and I just play and listen to it the whole time, I'm gonna have a great time. So I found a song, I'm listening to it, I'm feeling good, the vibes are good, the mushrooms are, liking the song, we're great. So I find my spot and I'm sitting there and I'm having a pretty good time. I got my water, I'm chilling, I'm looking around, I'm having a good time. And this is what starts the nightmare, is I all of a sudden need to pee. And I don't know if you have ever pissed while you were on mushrooms. It is incredibly difficult. I'm trying to get up basically, and my body is like, nah, we like sitting here. We like sitting here a lot. So I'm just like chilling there, still chilling there. I know I gotta pee, but I'm the type of person where I can just hold it in for a while. So I was like, it'll be fine. I'll just chill here for a bit and then eventually I'll get up. Well, I guess that triggered the fungus, noodling around up there, because all of a sudden, that's where the nightmare part of my trip activated. All of a sudden, a birdhouse that I knew was a birdhouse, like I 100% knew it was a birdhouse already, all of a sudden became a person that was sitting there taking photos of me, and it was scaring the shit out of me because I was like, oh my god, they know I'm tripping, I look crazy, I gotta get out of here. But I still was stuck there. So my brain triggered even more, and I started having like these dark visions Those are probably the only thing I won't talk about because they're all kind of weird. It was like a clown and hell. It was super weird. Finally, eventually get up, and I've been apparently like clawing at the ground because like I needed to pee, so my brain was just like trying to shoot out all the circuits to be like, hey fucker, you need to get up and you need to go pee. And part of the reason I chose this place is because I knew not that far away there was a urinal I could use instead of, you know, being the weirdo peeing in the woods. Because this is so close to a path where other people see, I wanted to make sure there was a urinal there so that way I could go there and I'd be fine and then I could go back to my spot. That is not what happened. It's weird. Even though I just had that nightmare trip, for some reason I was actually able to get kind of functional-ish to continue walking down there. I did have a moment where I kept walking a little bit and all of a sudden my bladder was like, hey, you need to just pee anyways. So I tried, but the photographer in my brain was still like over here taking photos of me. So I just had to keep going. And I finally get down there to the urinal. And because there was people parked in the parking lot of this park I knew the urinal was at, I started to get more paranoid, and that's when the blacking out started happening. I literally started walking across the field, blacked out once. I didn't really notice it at the time, but thinking back on the memory, I definitely did, because I blacked out from one side and then all of a sudden I was at the urinal. Porta potty. I keep saying urinal, but I'm not gonna go back and fix it. Porta potty. So I open the porta potty, I get in there, and I'm actually pretty fine. I use the restroom, I'm cool. I go to get out. I know, without anyone telling me, I was stuck in that porta potty for at least 15 minutes. 30, absolutely. I couldn't open, it was just a little ledge. The little triangle, you know, all the big urinal knowers, it was just the little latch, and my brain could not move the little goddamn latch to get it open. Couldn't do it, just wouldn't let me open it and get out. So I am like kind of ramming the door as I'm trying to open it. I finally get out of there. The other problem is I was blacking out more while trying to get out, so that was also having an issue. So I start walking back around, but because I knew there was people, I didn't know if they were watching me, but I knew there was people, so I start walking back, and then all of a sudden, I'm blacking out more. I went from, like imagine it's a soccer field, I went from like the urinals are here, I went blackout, 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 and then all the way around, and I'm back. And I'm walking back through this path trying to get back to my spot. Because I think I'm gonna be cool enough to just sit there. I might have been, but this is where I ended up scaring myself. So at the time, my cousin had just died about a week or two prior to that. The way in which she died was extremely traumatic, especially when it was told back to me. I don't want to say it again because it really was super dark, but it basically, I started remembering it, and my brain started having this one singular phrase. Is this what she felt like when she was dying? So I'm straight up like, the forest is closing in on me. My breathing is really shit. I'm blacking out. I'm waking up in different parts of the forest. I actually genuinely don't know how I died here because there's two like pipe sections that you can walk, you should walk around because they're blocked off, but the fall down in each of them, I don't remember walking around. So my body like really started autopiloting here, like hella crazy. And I started thinking of like, my brain started thinking about the TVA from Loki. Like I started imagining that shit, like kind of like Matrix-y, kind of weird vision-y shit. It was super weird. I finally get to a point to where I know I'm in the straight shot part, even though I don't know how I got past those two spots. I know I'm in the straight shot part. I genuinely grabbed my hat off, I grabbed my, my headphones off, I grabbed my water bottle, and I just tucked everything together and I just started running because I was so scared of what was happening that I just knew my brain would autopilot me all the way back. It did, but telling you the truth, that was scary as fuck. To just trust that my body and brain would get me to where I needed to go, but I did. I got all the way down there. At some point I lost my sunglasses, and right as I'm walking out of the little section of where I was walking in the forest, I was literally like, it was so weird. Even though I was having all this panic and all this shit happening, I literally was able to coax myself down to be like, don't act fucking weird, don't act fucking weird. We can easily walk home. And I did. I ended up walking home super fine. But as I'm also walking back home, at some point, I forgot to mention it, I thought I'd remember. I had checked myself, I think this was when I started running. I had checked myself to see like why it was so fucking hot outside. Cause I wasn't telling if I was overheating, like if the clothes were doing it or if it was just outside. It was just outside, and I'm like having a full-blown like monstrous panic attack. I finally get down there to where I can walk home. I get all the way home. Luckily, no one is near my front door, so I can run back. Well, I didn't run. I walked back to my room, and I was trying to sleep it off. But because I kept having the thoughts of my cousin rolling around in my head, I was like, I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. Like, and now it's a thing whenever I've tried mushrooms, I literally can't go to sleep now if I'm on them. It's just a minor little panic thing. So I try to do activities that keep me away from sleeping so I won't panic anymore. I kept trying to sleep. This is when it gets really dark here, so if you don't want to continue after this, I'm going to try and put disclaimers. I went into the kitchen, still no one was upstairs, grabbed a knife. So I go back into my room. I'm like writing notes to people, like if I don't wake up, like I'm writing a whole bunch of panicky shit. Even though my mother and brother are right down there, I don't go and talk to anyone. I just suffer in my room. And eventually, it slowly, and I mean fucking slowly, finally dissipated. And then I went into my shower, took a shower, and played Overwatch like none of what I just said ever happened. Like, quite literally. I went in and took a shower, came back, hopped on Overwatch with my buddy at the time, and played it like I didn't just have the most psychotic day ever. If I cut around what happened with the kitchen, that's because I decided it was too dark. And if you feel like you wanted to hear what happened with the kitchen, sorry, not sorry, that might be too dark once I'm editing this. I want to say that despite all this stuff that happened there, I am now a more experienced taker, and I can give a better, experience to people and be like, hey, you need to know your situation better, you need to know your mental state, and you also need to just, I would say don't take them by yourself. You should absolutely I should have taken them with someone else, so that way someone else could monitor me, or I could have someone to talk to in case something happens. But really, that's my thought of the whole thing. Even though it was a bad experience, it wasn't fully a bad experience because I got a lot of things out and I got a lot of thoughts brewing off of it, and I feel very different after it. I feel very different after every trip I've ever had because I always learn something. That's kind of my thoughts now for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys in the next video. It'll be a review. Catch you later. Peace.